Hello DIYs, my name is Nelo and you're welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to cut a straight bustier or shoulder bustier. Okay, I'll be showing you how to cut and also how you can pad it. And at the end of this video, I'm also going to be showing you some, I'll be correcting some things, some errors on the neckline. Okay, if you're new to this channel, you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing for more videos. Turn on the notification bell so as to be notified each time I upload new video. Like and share my videos. Okay, if you enjoyed the video, please share. All right, let's start. Okay, this is my pattern paper. Okay, as you can see, I have marked out all my lines. Okay, this is my shoulder, 8 inch and 7.5 from, this is my chest line, this is my bust line, this is my under bust line, this is my waistline, and the down line is the hemline. Okay, the sewing allowance or joining allowance, because it's half bodice. Okay, I'll be joining it to a skirt. All right, let's start by putting the bust nipple to nipple measurement, which is 7 inches. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Okay, so I add half an inch for sewing allowance, so I'm marking 4 inches. Okay, so you're going to mark it up to the shoulder line, down to the hemline. Okay, so I'll connect with a straight line like so. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here is to create the curve. Okay, and in order to create the curve, what you're going to do is to minus the under bust circumference from the bust circumference. Okay, we have different method of cutting bustier. This is the method I've been using and it's been working for me. Okay, you can give it a try. I don't do for bust this to this you use this, bust that to that you use that. No, I don't do that. It's to minus the under bust circumference from the bust circumference. Whatever you have, use it to create the curve. You divide it into 2 because the fabric is going to be on fold. Okay, let's say you have 5, you're going to use 2.5 to create the curve because the fabric is on fold. The other 2.5 will go on the other side, if that is making sense. And you always put 1 inch on your center front here, the remaining inch will go to this other side. Okay, so the bust I'm working with is 34, the waist 27. I minus 27 from 34. What I have left is 7. Okay, so on this bust line, you go down by half an inch, you come up by half an inch. Okay, so now I'm going to place 1 inch on this side and then 2.5 on this other side. Okay, remember what I have left is 7 inches. Okay, after minusing the under bust to bust from the bust line, sorry, after minusing the under bust circumference from the bust circumference, what I have left is 7. So I divide 7 by 2. What I have is 3.5. So I marked 1 inch on the center front, 2.5 on the side. Okay, always mark 1 inch on center front, and then you connect to the half inch you came down with on the bust line like I did. Okay, so now on the shoulder line, you're going to mark 1 inch on both sides. Okay, 1 inch here and 1 inch here. You connect that to the half an inch you go up with on the bust line. But before then, let me try this the method of cutting the neckline during cutting of your bustier. Okay, so the neck width I'm going to work with is going to be 5 inches width, and the neck depth is going to be 3 inches. Okay, for shoulder bustier, I usually join my fabric together before cutting the neckline, but let me try this and see what we have. So at the end of the video, I will tell you the result of this and also what you can do to rectify the problem. Okay, on the neckline. Okay, so I have joined the shoulder, the neckline. I use 5 inches width and 3 inches deep. Okay, all right, so now let's connect our 1 inch we marked on both sides to the bust line. Okay, like this. And I'll connect the other 1 inch this way too. Okay, so now you know that these 2 inches we took on the shoulder, we are going to be cutting it out. So then you blend your bust area like so. Okay, so the reason for going up by half an inch and coming down by half an inch on the bust line is to eliminate puffiness, okay, so that the bust will not be pointy. So you just draw the lines down, you bring down these lines, okay, like this. All right, so now on this shoulder line, we are going to replace the 2 inches we took on the shoulder line. Okay, if you don't do that, your shoulder is going to be short. So now I'm going to replace it starting from that shoulder line here, this shoulder line. Okay, so I'll mark 2 inches here, and then I'll connect it down to the chest line like so. And this serves as our new armhole line. This is no longer the armhole line. Okay, so this is now the armhole line. Okay, I replaced the 2 inches we took on the shoulder. Okay. All right, now I'm going to be putting all my measurements. Okay, divide your bust circumference by 2. I add 3 inches allowance. Okay, you can always trim out if it is excess. So I do the same here. My bust circumference divide by 4, sorry, not 2. Then I add 3 inches sewing allowance. On the under bust, I will mark quarter of my under bust plus 3.5 inch for the darts we're going to cut out. I'm going to mark the 3.5 inch here. Okay, then I'll just add extra 3 inches to it for sewing allowance. You can always trim out, like I said. Okay, so here on the waist, I'm also going to be marking the quarter of my waist circumference plus the 3 inches for the dart and 3.5 inches for the dart and 3 inches for sewing allowance. Okay, so now I'm going to connect the lines. So on this armhole, I'm going to get the midpoint of the armhole. This is 7.5. Okay, so the midpoint is 3.75 or so. All right, so now I'm going to come in by half an inch, and then I'll connect like so. Okay, so this is my armhole. So now I'm going to connect this together. And if you have any question regarding this tutorial, leave it on the comment below. And if you find it helpful, please share, okay? And also like. All right, so now I'm going to mark my shoulder slope of half an inch. Okay, I'm going to come down by half an inch. Then I'll connect the neckline like so. So after you minus your under bust circumference from your bust circumference, whatever you get, make sure to place 1 inch on the center front and then the remaining inch on the side. Okay, some people have a very tiny waist and big bust. Maybe you divide it and what you have left is 8 inches. Divide 8 inches by 2 because the fabric is going to be unfolded. Divide it by 2. Put 1 inch on the center front and the remaining 3 inch on the side. Okay, hope that is clear. All right, so I'm cutting it. All right, so that is all for the front, as you can see. So if you don't want it to get to the neckline, you can use 3 inches for your neck width. Okay, if you want it to be exactly on your shoulder, you can use 3 inches for your neck width, but this goes to the neckline because it's wide. The measurement is 5 inch width. So this is my zipper allowance 1.5 for the back. So this is my shoulder line, and then I mark my armhole line already, which is the same with the front. And this is my bust line, chest line, bust line, and then the waist line. Okay, so let me mark it. This is chest line, bust line, and then waistline. Okay, and the down is the 1 inch for joining allowance. So now I'm going to mark the nipple to nipple just like we did at the front. Remember, all your measurements start at that zip line. Okay, so I'll connect like so to the bust. Okay, so on the bust line you go up by 1 inch, and then on the waistline you mark half an inch on both sides. Okay, you mark half an inch like so. Half an inch on both sides. Okay, and then you connect to the 1 inch you go up by at the bust. Okay, connect like so up to the 1 inch you marked upward from the bust line. Okay, connect like this. All right, so that is that for the back dart. So now let's mark the neck. We use 5 inches for the front, and then I'm going to use 3 inches for the back as well. Okay, so I'm going to connect like so. Connect up to the zip area. Okay, and then I'm going to mark my armhole. I'll get the midpoint here, then I'll curve it. Okay, before I curve, I'm going to put my bust circumference divided by 4. That's quarter of my bust plus 2 inch for sewing allowance. Okay, so now you may be asking, why did I use 2 inch for back and 3 inch at the front? After sewing the bustier, sometimes you notice that the back panel is wider than the bustier. Okay, I don't know if you have experienced that. After sewing, you notice that the back is wider than the bustier. So that's why I always use 3 inches for the front and then 2 inch for the back. All right, so that if it is excess, you can always trim off. So I always trim the back, and then you notice that the front panel don't have much allowance. Okay, so that's why I always use 3 inches. All right, so now I'm slanting my shoulder by half an inch, and then I'll cut them out. I will not be cutting the darts out. Okay, I'll just trace it on the Ankara I'm going to use for this. So on this waistline, this is already 1 inch. You go up by 1 inch whenever you're making a half body dress, maybe the one you want to add skirt to or flare to, peplon or gown. Always trim off 1 inch from the zip side like this, just the way I mark, in order to eliminate zip bulginess at the back. Okay, if you do that, the back is going to lie flat after you sew. So now I'm going to cut. So now I have cut out, I've used the pattern to cut the Ankara, okay, the material. So I'm going to use this interfacing on it. Is a cloth stay, a hair stay. Okay, so I'm going to be using it on the material to give it a little firmness. Okay, all right, now I have done that, and I've also cut out the pad. So let me show you what I did. This center front, you're going to cut exactly the width, but the side, the width is going to be 5 inches, and all of them are going to stop at the under bust. Okay, all right, so you're going to stop at the under bust here, and then the length is going to be 4 inches from your bust line, you go up by 4 inches. Okay, so now let me use this pattern to show you. So this is my bust line. Okay, so I'm going to mark 4 inches upward here. That is how to get the length of your pad, okay, your breast pad or whatever you are using for it. All right, so the height is the bust. From the bust you measure 4 inches upward, and this one is going to be exactly like this. You're going to cut the center front like this, and then the side, the width of the side is 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be joining like so. All right, place like this, and then I'll sew from the waist up to the shoulder. Okay, I'll do the same on this other side. All right, okay. So you start joining from the waist to the shoulder. Okay, so this is what we have after joining. As you can see, the neckline, so we have 4 inches here and 4 inches on the other side, which is not supposed to be so. We are supposed to be having 3 inches left because the shoulder was 8 inch, okay, or 16 inches divided by 2. Now I have 8. So I marked, as you can see, the neckline is not even up to the, it's supposed to be 10 inch when you open it like this, okay, but it's not even up to that. It's just 8 inch, which means what we have was, what we cut was 4 inches instead of the 5 inches width I wanted to use for the neck. So what you would do in this case is to just join your shoulder together like this. Okay, use pin to secure it. All right, and then you mark 1 inch like so. Mark your 1 inch like this, and then you connect it to the neckline. Okay, just the way I'm doing. All right, that will now make it the 5 inches width I wanted to use for the top or dress. Okay, all right, then you cut. Remember, we marked 5 inches for the neck width, but unfortunately after sewing I noticed that I have cut out the 2 inches from the shoulder, and the 1 inch that was supposed to be on the neckline joined the that I cut out. So that is why I prefer joining my fabric before I mark my neckline. Okay, but in case this is what you prefer doing, you check your neckline, your neck width, to know if it correspond. If it did not, you just cut it the way I did. Now we have our 10 inches width for the neckline. Okay, as you can see, this is now 3 inches. Okay, all right, thank you guys for watching. This brings us to the end of the video. Please like, share and subscribe. If you find it helpful, share, like, subscribe if you've not done so. See you in my next video. Bye. Please, if you're in Nigeria, keep staying safe. Okay, see you. Bye.